Well, hey, this is Dr. Rhonda Simmons, and I am so glad to be with you today. And I just want to say welcome, welcome, welcome to Empowered Heart to Heart. It's a great day for us to be together. Make sure if you're watching us on our YouTube channel that you like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to my channel. Make sure you also hit the notification button so that you'll be notified every single time that I post a new video, because I'm telling you, things are happening and it's a great time for us to hang out together and learn more about this thing called life. And so, if you're on social media, and like who isn't, you'll find us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And our handle is TSEFIORG. If you need to reach out to us or you want to possibly get on the show, my contact information is on the screen as well as in the description below. I am so excited because during the month of July 2024, we are focused on the broad topic of transformation. However, we've broken it down into three components: mindset, execution, and accountability. And I'm super excited because I have an array of guest interviewees lined up to talk about different aspects of transformation. And today is no exception. I tell you, the people that I've interviewed from all over the world, they are the best folks this side of heaven. I keep saying it because I believe it. And today is no exception. And so I'm super excited because I have a special guest with me today. She is just a wonderful person. She is a licensed counselor. I'm so excited. I'm losing track of words here. She is a licensed counselor. And she has dedicated her life to helping individuals cultivate a positive and resilient mindset. Elisha, and that's who we're interviewing today, Mrs. Elisha Lee. Elisha specializes in cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a modality renowned for its effectiveness in transforming thoughts and thought patterns and beliefs that influence emotions and behaviors. She's worked extensively with clients to overcome a variety of challenges, including anxiety, depression, and stress, always with a focus on helping others obtain the transformation that they desire. And so without any further ado, I am so happy to bring to the stage Mrs. Elisha Lee. Hello, Elisha. How are you?
Hello, it's good to see you, Dr. Rhonda. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for asking me to be on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time and effort to be here. So, Elisha, you've got this wonderful private practice. You're working with clients and you're helping people every day. And I'm so excited to have you here because I believe that you're a woman of quality. And so tell us, what got you to this career path? What led you here?
Over 20 years ago, I was in a I was married, and it was a very unhealthy, toxic marriage. And I'm a survivor of domestic violence. And with my children, we left that situation, and the journey of leaving the situation and the healing process that it took for me to take, both as an individual as well as being available to my children, brought me to this place where, within my own healing journey, it brought me to a place where I wanted to give back. And that's the reason why I do what I do today. And one of the biggest things, Dr. Rhonda, that I learned about myself is that in order to see things transform, I had to think differently. I had to look at my situation, and I had to catch myself from thinking negatively about things, thinking negative things about myself. I had to do the work And from there, I was able to pour that into my children. And I believe, hopefully, I believe that it has benefited my children as well. So that's the reason why I got into private practice and got into counseling, into this profession, is because I want to help others get to their healing place also. I want to be part of their journeys, uh, as I had others pour into me and they were part of my journey as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am so glad that you are free from that domestic violent life. I can't imagine what that was like every day to live in fear and turmoil and worry and talk about anxiety. Oh my goodness. Wow, you're definitely a hero. And there is one word that you used a couple of times as you were talking that just jumped out to me. I was an English teacher before becoming a school administrator, and vocabulary is just huge for me. And you used the word journey several times. And can you speak to us about that word as it relates to the work that you do?
Absolutely. So I believe the healing process is definitely a journey. You know, um, our heart wounds, like our wounds, our heart broken heartedness, our soul wounds, some of them are so deep. If we were to deal with them at one time, some of these pains, sadly, I think, could take us out. So I think the way nature does it and works it out for us is it's like a shedding process. So we heal, we address issues, we heal some, and then once we're ready, we address further issues, and then we heal some. I think it's nature's way of protecting us, because some things that have happened to us are so deep and so painful. You know, there's something called the broken hearts syndrome, and it's not uncommon to hear, sadly, if especially if someone passes away, and then maybe a few weeks later, a loved one experiences a medical emergency, or even they may pass away just because they're so brokenhearted, right? So that's the type of thing that I'm referring to when it comes to doing the journey. And as you walk this journey, I think it's important to celebrate the milestones along the way, to even if it's the smallest things, you know, um, paying attention and being mindful of your where you are presently while you're on that journey, and celebrating that you're not who you used to be because you've transformed. I think it's so important to celebrate that, don't you?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Yes, you don't get me started talking about I'm not who I used to be. Oh my goodness, that is such an amazing thought, because sometimes when you're in so deep yourself,
Right.
do you find that you don't even see the transformation at first?
No, a lot of times when you're in it, you don't see it because you're in it. Like sometimes, especially if it's depression, or in really anything, but I'm thinking depression right now. You it's very hard to see. So celebrating the milestones, even, you know we take so many things for granted, like even being able to put your feet on the floor after you wake up. That can be a milestone, you know because
Mhm,
especially if you don't want to you haven't put your feet on the floor in a couple of
mhm.
days, unless you went to use the restroom, you know what I mean? So
Right.
just celebrating um your wins, your daily wins, makes a difference. Whatever those wins might be. And I always say start small with what those wins might be. But yeah, it's very important to celebrate your milestones and to celebrate your wins, because it encourages you, it gives you hope. And hope is a powerful thing. Hope is transforming. Hope
Yeah.
will Hope will help get you through the next day. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Get you through the day and get you through the next day. Because when you have hope, hope will put you in a place where um, you know that there's light at the end of the whatever that tunnel might look like.
mhm. Yes, yes. Oh my goodness. There was something I was thinking about as you were talking, and in your own journey, how did you know that you were healed enough to turn around and help somebody else?
What happened was, that's a good question. How did I know that I was healed enough to help someone else? The reason is because people were starting to come to me. People were being drawn to me, and I wasn't necessarily trying to um, reach out to them, but they were being drawn to me. And I found myself having conversations with people, and they were being helped. And I recognized that um, in order for them to see, for me to be all the more intricate and to see a real difference, that I needed to, get that formal training that's needed so that I can really make a difference and help other people. But
Mhm.
it happened authentically. It happened organically. I didn't wake up and say, "Oh, I want to do this." It was those people were coming to me, and I was finding myself in situations where I was assisting or supporting them in some size, shape, or form.
Okay. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. How what how did your children factor into your journey of healing?
So when I left, this was over 20 years ago. So there's a lot of space, okay?
Mhm.
When I left, in the beginning, I left because of them. They were afraid. And I don't believe that children should be afraid to be at home. When they're home, I never wanted my home to be a place that my children were in fear. And I saw that they were afraid. So
Mhm.
I made the choice to leave because of them. And then later on throughout my healing journey, I stayed gone because of of myself. I made that choice for me. But in the beginning, it was for my children. And you'll find that a lot of survivors of domestic violence, that's if they have children, typically the choice is because of their kids. And then later on, it's because they make the choice to stay out of that situation.
Wow. Wow. That is so powerful. Um, because you and I both know that it's your why
Hmm.
that gets you from mindset to execution. It's your
Absolutely.
why. And I
Absolutely.
love how your children were a strong enough why to get you to do what you were afraid to do. I'm always amazed at the power of motherhood. Always
Yeah.
amazed because it's like you all wear the Superman or Superwoman, S on your chest because it is just so amazing to see what you all are willing to do for the sake of your children. And so, Elisha, so here you are now at this stage of your life. You know what you know. You walk through your journey to the point where you are helping people day and night, every day. And on behalf of everyone that you've helped, thank you. Um, but here you are. If you could speak to your younger self, what would you tell her?
If I were to speak to my younger self, I would tell her, you are enough. You are loved, you are cherished, and you're going to get through this. And you're going to come on the other side. That's what I
Yes.
would tell my younger self.
Yes. That's powerful. That's powerful. And so, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Now that you have arrived, so to speak, and you've got your private practice and you're making it. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Well, I use the word arrive. You know, Dr. Rhonda, I don't consider myself arrived. I consider myself still moving in a healing journey, right? I'm still moving forward. So the way I see myself 5 years from now is holistically being in a place of total and complete peace, of having joy, being constantly surrounded by things that bring me joy, and having a community that is nurturing to me just as I nurture to them, you know, and a place where there's open communication, where we can authentically have those hard conversations, but it be from a place of love and peace rather than contention and resentment, because we've worked out those things that would cause the contentment, the resentment and the contentment that might be there. So I don't know if that's like the answer that you're looking for, but 5 years from now, within my own healing journey, I see myself I don't even want to use the word stronger, but I see myself at a greater place of peace and functioning from a greater place of love. And that really comes from, as we were talking, it comes from mindset, you know, being intentional and mindful and present and enjoying every moment that it comes before you. I often tell people, and I'm sure you've told this to people too, you know, if I lose money, I can get it back, right? But if I lose time, you can't get time back. You know, I can't get yesterday back. So just being present and enjoying the present and encompassing all that is within that present time is so important when it comes to mindset and experiencing the transformation. We're always going to be in the middle of something. We're always moving forward to something. So enjoy the journey while you're on the way to the something that you're moving forward to.
Well said. Absolutely
Mhm.
well said. Um, you know, I agree with you. I'm surprised I actually used the word arrived because I feel like we we've never really arrived. It's just
Mhm.
in fact a journey. We keep going, we keep growing, we keep learning. Um, and so thank you for sharing that. One of the key words, again, here comes vocabulary, that is the foundation to what we do is empowerment.
Right.
What does that word mean to you?
Empowerment means using your resources, your tools, the resource, what is within you, and setting yourself up to a place where you win. You know, you even may have setbacks and things that happen because that's life, right? But even choosing how you respond to that, using your resources, what you know about yourself,
Mhm,
will help you to get to a greater place in moving forward, even when there is a setback or a hiccup.
mhm. Amen. I guess I'm 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 actually a minister too. Oh, wait, here we go. I'm so sorry. I got so excited thinking about what you said, and I'm a minister, and so uh,
I'm
sometimes
a
the
minister
amens
too,
just
so that's so cool.
oh good. I kind of
Yeah.
figured that I was going to ask you off camera, but
Mhm,
but
mhm.
so the amen slip out every now and then, and
It's
because
okay.
one thing
I'm
I
good
have
with
found
it.
Yes. One thing I have found out is that the real us will come out, you know,
Hmm.
good, bad, or indifferent. At some point, the real us will come out. And so that is why transformation is so important. Um,
I want
we
to,
go
if
ahead.
it's okay, I want to bring something up too, because I think this is really important. Um, the younger me did not know who she was, right? And so the person I am today, I have a better understanding of who I am. And because I have a better understanding of my identity today versus the younger me, there's some things I won't do. There's some things I won't say. There's some places I won't go. There's some communities I will not engage in. There are some conversations I will not engage in because I know who I am. And once you know who you are, like you really know who you are, nobody can shift you. Nobody can like tell you what you can or can't do. They can't speak things to you that are not identical to who you are as an individual. You see where coming from? But the main thing is you have to know who you are, right? And I think that is a big, big uh, puzzle piece when it comes to empowerment, because once you know who you are, if I am a tree and you tell me I'm a dog, I'm gonna say no, I'm not, I'm a tree, you know. So once you know who you are, people aren't going to shift, won't be able to shift you and speak things into you. And you won't be as accepting of things when it comes to mindset, when you know who you are and you know what you're capable of doing. So that was the other piece I wanted to mention regarding empowerment as well.
Well, you just preached the whole sermon because I
Mhm.
was sitting here thinking about um, how, as you've gone further into your healing journey, I was going to ask you, do you find yourself attracting different type of people to your
Absolutely.
life? Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
So on one hand, oh, go ahead. It looks like you're about to say something.
Well, I was just going to say, the key, a lot of people are using the word energy, and I believe there's some truth to that. You know, when you know who you are, you tend to attract like-minded people when you know who you are. You know, when you don't know who you are, anybody feels like they can step up to you, right? But when you know who you are, and when you're confident, I don't even know if the word is confident, it's just a knowing. When you know who you are, it's really easy to step into those spaces. And you can tend to draw people who also have a similar energy mindset as you do as well, you know?
Yes, yes, amen. I am living proof of that. Sounds like you are too. Um,
Yes,
because it is interesting how God will just change the landscape around you.
absolutely.
The more you know, the more you grow, the more you heal. It's so important because people are attracted to wholeness,
They
you
are.
know, because they want it. Whether or not they're whole or not, they want it. And sometimes people look at you and I and think, I can't really put my finger on it, but I want what she's got,
Yep.
and so
Yep.
it's important that we are prepared for those conversations. And I'm just excited. Now, how long have you been in practice?
I believe this is the seventh year, eighth year. I believe it's the eighth year since I've been in and I've had the practice. So very excited about it. Um, very excited about it. I've enjoyed doing it for so long now. I've really enjoyed doing it for so long. I am very thankful that I'm in this role, and this has become my passion. This is my calling. This is my mantra, and I'm glad to be walking in that as well.
That's fantastic. So, one final question, because we're business women too. So, are you in private practice full time, or do you do it part time plus a secular job?
I do this full time.
How was that transition for you? Because I'm right there, and we can talk faith all we want to, but when it's time to walk it, things may feel a little bit different. And so, how did you do making that transition?
What it became was I knew that I couldn't juggle both. And once I knew I couldn't juggle both, I had to make a choice. Just the demands of the work versus the demands of the practice. I had to
Mhm.
choose. And so I chose the direction that I knew God was putting me towards. And that's what happened. It was organic again. It wasn't forced. It wasn't um I did have plans. I did have some savings and things of that nature. So because I was putting a little bit away, but when it was time to leave, I really couldn't do both. You we can only do so much because we're human, and we only have so much time to do something. And so when it got to a place where I couldn't do the practice and do my role with my employer, I made a choice and I chose the business. I chose me, really. I chose me.
Wow. And even though that was a business decision, don't you feel like that decision was also a part of the healing journey?
Absolutely. So the way it started for me was in my prayer time. I would feel like the Lord would lead me to read different kinds of books. So He would lead me to read books on shame, or He would lead me to read books on forgiveness, or He would lead me to read books on different types of like spiritual abuse and things of that nature. And that's really how I got into it, because He was leading me in this direction anyway. And then so it was like a natural progression. It was very organic the way it happened. It wasn't forced at all. So, but I'm thankful to be in it. This is where I'm supposed to be.
Wow. Wow. I can tell. I can tell. Well, I am just so glad that you took some time to talk with us today. I have enjoyed hearing your journey, hearing the process that you went through, because it is indeed a process. And I'm so thankful for the work that you're doing. And, hearing your story just reminds me of an old hymn that, young folks may not even know about today. But that old hymn says, "If I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word or song, if I can show somebody that they're traveling wrong, then my living will not be in vain." And I feel like that may be the epitome of what you're doing for others. And I'm just so greatly moved by the work that you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on the show. I absolutely love speaking with you, Dr. Rhonda.
Well, thank you. Thank you. If you will hang out just for a minute, I'm going to wrap up the show and I'll be right back with you. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, my goodness. Wasn't that powerful? You may be at the beginning of your healing journey and you're not sure which way to go, what to do. God has raised up people in the earth that you can reach out to. And I would have to say, probably the only positive thing that may have come out of the pandemic is that we have figured out how to stay connected virtually, in person, whatever we have to do. And so you can reach out and get the help that you need. You are not alone. And so, whatever situation you find yourself in, whether it's anxiety or depression or even domestic violence, please know that God has a way out. God has people ready to help you and to walk with you on your journey. But the choice is yours. The choice starts with your mindset. And so my question is, do you want to be free? Do you want to be out? Do you want to have peace where you can actually rest at night when you go to sleep and not cry yourself to sleep and not wonder, what's going to happen the next moment, the next hour, the next day? Do you want to be free? And so if you do, I want you to reach out to Mrs. Elisha Lee. I'm going to put in the description that she has a book called The Mental Health Handbook: Strategies for Self-Care and Resistance. And she also has an adult coloring book called Mindfulness: Biblical Affirmations of Forgiveness and Grace. I'm telling you, it's going to be wonderful. It is an adult coloring journey to peace and restoration. All of these books can be found on Amazon. I'll put the links in the descriptions. You want to get these resources to help you. And for those of you that may be a little older and you may be thinking coloring books, because we did that when we were children. I'm telling you, there is something so cathartic about coloring. I can't explain it, but it brings about such a peace. I don't remember as a child getting this much joy out of coloring as I do now. So get the book. It will help you. And those biblical affirmations are what you need to help reshape your mindset. So get Elisha's books so that they can help you. And Prime Day is coming up, I think next week or this week or soon. I'll just say soon. So Prime Day is coming up on Amazon. So go get the books. You can be blessed. You can be transformed. And so, and let me just say this, since this is a Christian podcast, I believe Romans chapter 12 talks about being transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's where it starts, in the mind. And the Apostle Paul wrote the book of Romans. He also said in another scripture that it is with the mind that I serve the Lord. And so the mind is a battleground. The mind is, let's say, prime real estate, And so as I like to say, if I can think right, I can do right. And so let's work on our mental health so that we can be the best at whatever it is God has assigned to our hands, because God has a purpose just for you. And so until the next time, be blessed, be encouraged, but most of all, be empowered. And I'll see you on the next edition of Empowered Heart to Heart.